All right, for this I will close this curve window and talk about those data sets. So those data sets in my example, they origin from an acceleration sensor, and oftentimes data from an acceleration sensor needs to be filtered in any way to get rid of certain parts of frequencies that you are not interested in. And yeah, so what we want to do is we want to apply a filter to this data set. For this, we focus on the function library for a second. So here on the function library, we have different categories that contain different functions to use. And we could start by just guessing. Filtering has probably to do something with editing. And indeed, here we have a filter category where we have listed all of the filters that we can use. If you are not sure in which category a function appears that you're looking for, you can also use the search folder. I already have typed in filter here. And once I do that, I get all the filter functions listed. And if I find my high pass here, so I want to run a high pass, I can simply right click and say go to group, and then FAMOS would tell me which group this filter is in. So this is how you can navigate through the functions library. Okay, now to apply this filter, you can again simply use drag and drop. So I will simply select the data set and drag it onto my high pass filter. And if I let go, then the function assistant appears. So this is an assistant that helps me to fill out all the parameters that function that I want to execute requires. Okay, here we can see we need to specify a result name. So I will just use the same name and add an underscore filled. Butterworth characteristic is okay right now. Fourth order is also all right for me. Now cutoff frequency, of course, you need to know your data a little bit, or you need to play around until you're happy with the result. I will just choose 500 Hertz in my case, and then I can just hit run, and the result appears in the variables list. Now I can select those two files and show them again in the curve window. Rearrange the axes a little bit. That was the wrong order, so I need to go into more channels and put the filtered one in front. And then I can see the normal data set and the filter data set in a curve window. All right, now to run this function on more than one data set, of course, I can simply select each data set after the other and drag and drop it onto the function. A more simple way is I can just keep this function and paste it in the input window. So let me switch to the input window. The input window is basically a blank sheet of paper, if you want to see it like that, where I can define different commands to execute in FAMOS. And each command is one line, so I can type in line-based commands in here, and I can use this function assistant to help me fill out the syntax correctly. So in this case, I still have my function assistant open, and once I'm in the input window, I can simply hit copy, and then I can close because I don't need it anymore. So now I have the whole command that executes the filter option in the input window. Now let's have a look at the help section for a second. So every time you select a function in the functions library, or also place the cursor over a function in the input window, you will get this little help for the function. It tells you about the syntax, which parameter are used or required, how the function is used, what it does, and usually also gives you an example. Okay, now we don't need this anymore. Now what we want to do is we want to apply the same filter to the other two data sets. For this, I will simply copy this line, paste it 2 times, and then simply change the correct names. So 2 and 3. And now with this little icon here, I can run all of the commands at once. So FAMOS will run each line after the other one. It's iteratively, it's not at once. It runs each command iteratively until it reaches the end. And now you can see I get my results in the curve window. And what I can do, I can open up my curve window here again and now select those data and add it in here, those 2 and those 2, rearrange the axis again a little bit. And now I have the result, my curve window with the original 3 data sets and also the filtered ones. All right. Now this list of, oh, sorry, I made a little mistake in here. Okay, now this list of commands you can also save into a separate file, and inside of FAMOS we are calling such a list a sequence. So basically a number of commands is basically considered a sequence. You can save sequences as separate files and also call the complete file within one line of code. And the ones of you that are familiar with other programming languages may already think of function calls here. And yeah, it's a little bit like a function call, but we just call it sequence in FAMOS.